She's the innocence of hope, the solitude of fear. Legs to hold you close, but never hold you near. Your grin of understanding hangs like flowers in her hall, and her life seems so demanding. She's just scunned with it all. She's given up on love for coffee and TV.
In this episode, we're staying in the UK, Shropshire, to a wee town called Telford, named after the Scottish engineer Thomas Telford, who had established himself as an engineer of road and canal projects in Shropshire between the late 18th and early 19th century. There you go. In Telford lived the vivacious and beautiful Georgia Williams, along with Dad Stephen, Mum Lynette and sister Scarlett. At the same time Georgia was born, in September of 1995, Dad Stephen had fulfilled his dream of becoming a police officer with the local West Mercia police force, so there was a lot to be proud of and celebrate that year. Georgia was a caring child, very spirited and empathic. She loved her sister Scarlett and would play pranks on her a lot. Georgia and her sister were the absolute apples of her parents' eyes and were fast growing up to be focused and bright, young, beautiful women. Georgia didn't like school at first, not in the early years. She had been bullied and struggled to fit in, but by the time she got to high school she had settled down and became very popular with her adventurous and caring and contagious attitude to life. She was very sporty and was a cadet in the Air Training Corps, was a straight A student and a head girl at school, was the one friends would go to for support or help, always ready to give her time up for anyone, and had dreams of becoming a paramedic in the Royal Air Force. This weeken's a warrior. At 17, Georgia would get herself a wee job at a local petrol station, a wee bit of pocket money. This is where she will meet Jamie Reynolds. He was older than Georgia at 22, but seemed quiet and shy, a nice person although a bit strange. Georgia would befriend him and introduce him to her friends. She knew what it was like to be outcasted. Her friends also thought he was a bit strange but quiet and seemed nice enough. He didn't like working at the petrol station and had dreams of becoming a photographer and wanted to pursue this as a career, and Georgia, being Georgia, would encourage him wholeheartedly. Reynolds would become infatuated with Georgia, having a boyfriend already, Matthew, and also didn't look at Reynolds like that. She would make it clear they were just friends, so would reject any romance with Reynolds, but would stay friends as that was just Georgia's nature. If she was your friend, she truly was your friend. On the 26th of May 2013, the family would have a barbecue in the garden. It was a Sunday and the sun was shining. Georgia had prior agreed with Reynolds that she would meet him later that night at his house with some of her friends to model for him as part of her portfolio. Eager to help Reynolds pursue his dream, she agreed. At around 7:30, Georgia would go upstairs and get changed to go. She would wear black skinny jeans, a white baggy t-shirt and her hair up in a ponytail. Her dad Stephen would comment as she came down the stairs, "You look like Sandy from Greece." Georgia tells her parents she's going to Reynolds' house for a photo shoot. Mum and Dad aren't concerned. They've met Reynolds before and, like everyone else, just saw a quiet, well-mannered guy. Plus other friends will be there. She leaves at approximately 7:30. Reynolds' house is only a few minutes up the road. Reynolds has texted Georgia prior to give her a quick summary of what she'll be doing. It says, "You be standing on a box. I would edit that out on the computer so it looks like you're floating." Georgia must think she's the first one to arrive. Since she only stays up the street, this makes sense. There's a box at the top of the stairs with a red rope noose hanging from an oar that's been placed across the open loft hatch, the other end tied to the banister, like a pulley system. He asked her to get dressed in clothes that he's bought for the shoot. Then, trustingly, she stands on the box. He starts taking pictures and asks her to put the noose round her neck, then the handcuffs round her wrists. The pictures will show how trusting she is of him, happy to be there, helping a friend, completely unknowing of the danger ahead. The photos will go on to show Georgia's fate. The rope is pulled tight. This must be when it hits Georgia that she's in mortal danger, that Reynolds is not her friend. He kicks the box away, pulling tighter on the rope until Georgia stops breathing and hangs limp. He takes her down and undresses her, sex assault her corpse. Taking photos of his gross played out fantasy, a catalogue of the before, during and after. A few hours later, Stephen and Lynette would get worried. It was getting late and it was highly unusual for Georgia not to make contact, especially if she was staying out. She hated anyone being worried about her, so would always get in touch so as not to worry the family. They text her mobile and do get a response, which is that the photo shoot is over, but will be staying a while longer with friends. The next day, Monday, 6:30am, Lynette checks Georgia's room. There's no sign of her, so she texts her again. A few hours later, she receives a response which is, "Sorry, lost track of time, stayed over, forgot to text and let you know," and ends with, "Battery about to die on phone." More worryingly is that Georgia had a festival to go to and her driving lessons were to start today. There is no way Georgia's going to miss any of these events. Tuesday 28th comes and still no sign of Georgia. They call her boyfriend Matthew and her close friends. No one has seen or heard from her since Sunday. Stephen and Lynette call the police and report Georgia is missing and put up an appeal on Facebook. The police, having been told by Stephen and Lynette Georgia's last whereabouts, run a background check on Jamie Reynolds. Alarmed by what comes up, they know this is not good. They uncover that Reynolds has previous. In 2008, at the age of 17, he's given a final warning after attempting to strangle a 16-year-old girl. This was also under the guise of helping with a project. Her project on this occasion, his project in Georgia's case. His parents even told police at the time of these offences their son had a weird obsession with violent porn and snuff films depicting inaction. His mum had found photos of girls in uniforms that Reynolds had drawn nooses and ropes round their necks and wrists. Turned out he knew the girls and had downloaded the pictures off their Facebook pages. At the time, he would be assessed by mental health services and a youth offending team. It was determined that Reynolds did pose a significant risk to the public, but even so, no further action would be taken. Police would say that the case was suitably resolved. In 2011, he tried to run a colleague off the road because she had rejected his romantic advances. Police don't link this to the 2008 case, so he was unfortunately let off. The police do a registration check on his stepdad's van. They know Reynolds uses it. They find Reynolds filling the van with petrol, still in Shropshire, before driving 60 miles to Wrexham, Wales, and buying a cinema ticket to see the movie The Fast and the Furious. The same movie he asked Georgia to go and see. She didn't. He's then found booking into a hotel in Glasgow. Shropshire police contact Police Scotland. He's arrested on suspicion of kidnap but categorically denies knowing where Georgia is. He's handed over to Shropshire police. Police obtain a warrant to go in and search the parents of Reynolds' home. What they find is harrowing even to seasoned police officers. They find a memory card from Reynolds' camera. There's been an attempt to scrub the contents, but everything is retrieved. Here they see what happened to Georgia. Her wee trusting happy face. At the beginning, On the box, the noose, then the tightening, the realisation, her last breaths. Her body then stripped naked and set, assaulted. They now know for certain George is no longer with us, how it happened and who did it. Now they need to find out where she is. The police are relying heavily on CCTV to see what he was doing between Telford and Glasgow, to see if they can see where Reynolds has put Georgia, and find more footage. This time he's in a multi-storey car park in Wrexham. This is when he goes to the cinema and watches The Fast and the Furious. On the Thursday the 30th of May, police do a press conference and release details of the van, photos of the registration, the van route, and if any witnesses saw the van to please come forward. On Friday the 31st, witnesses did. The police are told that the van was spotted stuck by the side of the road in Nantygrath near Ruthin, North Wales, on the 27th. This is the Monday, beside a wooded area, and passers-by helped the van out of the mud. Police rush to this location. They find George's naked body hardly hidden in the wooded area, beside where witnesses helped the van. On Saturday the 31st, Reynolds is charged with murder and remanded in custody, still denying all knowledge. In fact, it won't be until 6 months later, at Stafford Crown Court, on the 2nd of December 2013, when Reynolds is asked how he pleads, will he finally admit guilty.
Important today that Jamie Reynolds has pleaded guilty to the murder of Georgia Williams. It's important for the family, it's important for the community of Wellington, and it's also important for her friends. What this enables the family to do is actually to grieve for Georgia without having the burden of a trial, without having the burden of that trial, and enable them to move forward, despite the fact that their loss will never be diminished.
On the 19th of December 2013, Jamie Reynolds is given a full life term, the harshest punishment British law can give. This means life. Reynolds will never again be released. He's one of the youngest in British criminal history to get this tariff. Mr. Justice Wilkes will say, "The sentence I pass on is one of life imprisonment. The early release provisions are not to apply to you. I make a whole life order." In 2014, he will appeal this sentence under the grounds of how young he is and that he pleaded guilty. The Court of Appeal will say, "There is no way possible a whole life order could be argued against. The sentence was just. Appeal flatly denied." An independent investigation by Devon and Cornwall Police was carried out into how Reynolds' previous attacks on women were handled. Subsequently, 6 police officers from the West Mercia Police were served with misconduct notices regarding the 2008 case. Chief Constable David Shaw of West Mercia Police said,
"It's wrong. We let them down, and I profoundly and wholeheartedly apologise to them. But we can't bring them back. But if there's any good is going to come from this, is that we work with Stephen and Annette to do everything we can to make sure that it doesn't happen again."
George's dad will say, "I truly know what a broken heart is." The report stated that although at least 8 agencies had been involved in the case, at no time did all those agencies meet together, and there was no clear coordination approach to multi-agency working.
Officers in here shouldn't sleep at nights because they let Georgia down.
Their failings led to our daughter being killed by Reynolds. They killed Georgia by not dealing with him properly, and they should accept some consequences for that.
Georgia's local community raised £2,000 for a memorial bench to celebrate her life. Georgia's mum and dad have opened the Georgia Williams Trust Fund just weeks after her death, which helps young people achieve their dreams and pursue their passion. A fitting tribute to the vivacious, bubbly, spirited, beautiful young woman that is Georgia Williams. So what do you think? Do you think it was just that he got a whole life term? Or do you think that maybe they were a wee bit too harsh, maybe they should have been a wee bit more lenient? Let me know in the comments below. Right, that's my time out. Good night from FourWaller. Be kind to the people beside you. We're all human.
Looks like butterwood and melt, although her words cut like a knife. 'Cause she's a flower, or she's a